Welcome back to the Tomb of Illumination, where we're talking about the flat earth system, celestial bodies, namely Sirius, its connection with Osiris, all the Egyptian mythologies, and how it's deeply embedded into the Freemasonry culture. So if you haven't seen any of the previous videos, go back and check them out from video 1. I'm just tidying stuff up at the end now because I've done so much. I'm now getting a bit confused of what I've done and what I haven't done, because it's been a couple of days now. Things come and go in my mind. I've just done a video on understanding Osiris, but that cut out because my card was full, so I'm not sure what I've got on there because I'm just down uploading it on YouTube now, so I can't look. But anyway, check it out. I think I got it all out, but there was more in it. But I'm just going to go over a few things then. See what you think. So don't forget to put a like and subscribe if you want. You know, it's interesting stuff. You'll never find it anywhere else. Everybody will start using this information now. You'll see. I mean, you know, I've got 6,000 subscribers and you get like 200 views within a week. How do you explain that? Because I've only got a few probably flat earthers or people understand what I'm talking about. Then you have all these globies or scientists, physicists, whatever. They're all there too, hiding in the background, because they don't know either. They just done a story about the globe and they're freaking out that I'm telling the truth and I'm exposing all the truth. So they're not going to say anything. They're not going to like or share anything. So it's up to you, small few, to share the information. Get it out everywhere. Because I'm not a tech person. I've got no idea how to do this crap. I'm an ex-builder, okay? I had nothing to do with computers. I retired years ago. Nothing to do with the high-tech stuff, okay? I can't even set up a Patreon page. Well, I think I tried, and I think my whole site's infiltrated by these people, like the Gates and all them. They create all this stuff. It's just weird. They won't allow me to do anything. There's nothing there to do anything. Like just when I go to edit, because now and then I'll say the wrong thing. I have to cut that little bit out. And you go to edit and you put on the times and all that, and you fill in the times, and all of a sudden that one disappears or changes to some other weird time. So you go back and change that, and then that one will change. But it only does it when it feels like it. That's just one example of how they know how to fudge the whole system. Every time I go to do something, they've done something weird. So I can't get information and stuff out there the way I would like to. So I've just pretty well given up, and that's what they want. They want you to give up and go away and die in a little hole somewhere. They don't want the truth exposed, but I just keep plod on. It's a hobby of mine. Okay? Discovering the truth and revealing it is a hobby. So the last video talked about the Horus, creating Horus, the most divine entity of all spiritual enlightenment, waking up, the Jesus story, the unification of the upper and lower Egypt, the spiritual thing between earth and the heaven, getting a connection, going up your mountain. You see, you got a connection up there. In a previous video I talked about the Eye of Horus and how it represented the fish shape and the full moon, new growth. And I had to cut this bit out because I mentioned corn, but no, it's more like the might represent the corn in one aspect, but it's basically, well, that was the fish story, right? And that's your Passover. But then there's the other one with the Eye of Horus, the falcon eye. So you get it looking more like a falcon's eye, and his pupil, which represents the full moon still. The season is the springtime, new growth. But this little bit's on the face of the falcon apparently. Also, still the Passover. Okay, so that's another representation of the Eye of Horus. So you've got the Eye of Horus. What's the other one? or the eye of Ra. Yeah. So maybe the eye of Horus is the falcon-headed one, the eye. Then the eye of Ra will represent the sun and moon together. So don't forget, this whole divine story is the sun and moon together, hidden or placed in the Milky Way. Okay? Because the sun is always in the Milky Way, because it's the way it goes. What we see in the Milky Way is the back of the sun. It's Sagittarius A, you're not told about. It comes along and passes over your full moon. And when it passes over your full moon that's in your sign. Your sign that moon was in at your conception is the most holy time in all of your existence. If you can wake up, otherwise it will pass by and you'll miss it. You have to understand the truth. Be awake to it, open-minded. Not just a dumb dodo who thinks you live on a spinning ball because you got indoctrinated from the age of 5 years old. And when you go to tell these adults, straight away up goes a block wall, a barrier. That means you're stone dead inside here. You'll never ever leave this earth. You'll just recycle, never gain the meaning to life. You just dwell in a mente, basically. Hell, lower chakra, dodo. So I'm exposing many truths, all hidden information that you guys can all go out there and put in your videos if you want. Explain it way better than I am, because I'm not a very good narrator, I know that. So you can use it, but it doesn't hurt you to mention my name and I'm the one who told you about it. It's not going to kill you, but I know what people are like and what humans are like. So I've told you about the solar boat, how it's connected to this whole flat earth design. Floats across the sky and all that, and that's the sun, back as Sagittarius A. And I've told you that the southern stars are a parabolic image of the northern stars. So when you realise, you have to understand this, the southern hemisphere, if you look at my other videos, where are we? It's the shape of the earth, really. It's a slice. It's like this. That's the flux over the earth. So the northern hemisphere in the centre here, is flat. But look, it curls down here. And because of this curling down in the firmament is based on gas and pressure, moisture. This image up here is cast into here, but it's parabolic. So what it does, it sends an image back to this one spot, centralized around Sigma Octanta. So you get a star rotation right there in your view. It's not way out there anywhere. It's right there within your horizon, and you're getting this rotation. So you get a star rotation there coming at you, and then you've got your one in the northern hemisphere. So imagine you're in the southern hemisphere. There's your looking dead south, you get the full rotation. You see a little bit on the horizon in the north. Well, what I've just realised in the system, why they're different, you can't find the alignments or the comparisons, is because the northern hemisphere, the image comes up from below, plastered into the sky. Okay, so you're seeing down inside coming up, and so the Milky Way's at the top, because the Milky Way's at the top here, right? So you're getting all this image here being plastered straight up, and then the Milky Way's fudged at the top here. It's not as clear because you're getting it all these stars pushed into the Milky Way, so it's not as clear. But you see, this out here is inverted, you could say. You bring that over and go plop this way. So now you're looking from seeing the Milky Way first. Then all the stars are set in behind it. This is why we get a good view of the Milky Way in the southern hemisphere. So it is all from here, but it's inverted, so, or exverted, what's the word? That's more or less inverted. Expressed out, so this is southern top, this is southern end, comes over and goes plop down this way. But it's all on this arc. This is what gives you the parabolic, the holographic projection back to you as a focal point around Sagittarius, Sigma Octantis. Okay? So that's that. So expose this. I've talked about those stars and how they work and the rotations. I've told you that the firmament's all inert gases basically, because based on the hydrogen molecule, expansion and contraction. The hydrogen molecule, how it expands as it elevates. This way it comes less and less pressure. But we're pressurized down here. So we're in this system where we cannot go through that system. It acts like a force field. It takes a bit of thinking to understand that. But that's why we can't get out. Cannot leave. Should we run over a few things while we're here? Sirius is the arrival of the Milky Way, and followed by three wise men. The wise men are up front. Sirius is just behind it. Of Orion's belt, the start of the holy season all of religion alludes to. I think I've said all this before. When Sirius goes down, it is the end of the season. It is the tip of the Milky Way, and Antares is opposite over Earth, but not the actual end of the Milky Way, but it acts like it. There's a bit more to that story. You see it's coming up like this. Orion's belt is coming up from the east. Is the east. I was sort of telling this a bit differently, but I had it drawn right. So Orion belt arrives just before Sirius, but that's the start of the divine season when Sirius turns up. All the cultures know about that. The flipped inverted system of the Milky Way. The coming of the divine season. Sirius is known as the dog star because it's on the nose of that that dog constellation. Okay. I was looking at the other way, calling this the dog lead. The dog was leading, but no, it's behind the Milky Way, behind the belt. The dog star, also known as the greater dog. And then you get into Anubis, the black dog. So that's another long story. Might make a video on that one. The Sirius Mystery by Robert K.G. Temple. He talks about this alien stuff in this divine connection I've talked about. There's no aliens. No aliens. There's just humans waking up, knowing, being connected from heaven to earth. He knows everything, knows the truth. That's what the falcon represents. Eye of Horus. Horus is born in the system. So I've told you all about the Milky Way, how it's a separate entity, how your science lies to you and tells you you live in the Milky Way. When you can see the Milky Way pass over the sky every night. These two systems, Antares, you can also connect it back to the twins. You know, it's Abel and Seth is it? Abel and Seth. Yeah, because they're the one entity, okay? There's the spiritual reborn son, and there's the firstborn. There's that as well. How Ptolemy uses Sirius as the location for the globe's central meridian. What a laugh. No, central meridian was in here. It's all in here. That's classed as the centre. This is dead centre. They draw the ecliptic plane. No. Centre, slightly off from where Orion's belt is, but actually Orion's belt is the dead centre point. Now there was other things I was going to talk about. We talked about that, I mentioned that. Now I've forgotten again. I think I was reading this in the last video, some notes here. And the film cutout. So what have we got here? Water. Oh, that's what we need to talk about. Let's go back up here. 14 times the Milky Way passing over the moon. The Milky Way passing over the moon for the alignment. It's the male and female getting it on to create Horus. Isis and his sisters. Anubis patches up the pieces in the story. Forms the full moon again. Check out the last video. Isis hovers over his mummy to breathe life into him. So that's the tomb. You see the Milky Way is the tomb. And you know, that's the alignment and how we come about with Horus. And they're trying to tell you, like in your science or whoever's telling the stories, these Egyptologists will tell you that the scattering, the 14 pieces represent the scattering of seeds across the land when harvesting. It's all rubbish. And it's all celestial, this story. Now we get into water. Water holds we've got evilness. Pure water for cleansing. So when we get into the religious story of water, you have to understand it means many things, like you know, you've got the divine flood and it's flushing through the male system. But anyway, you have to realise water has a memory. Basically your spirit is in your water. Your soul's in your blood maybe. But what happens when you die? The energy in that water and blood, where does it go? The energy, it rises up. It leaves your body. So basically that's your records. They go up. Just like the hydrogen molecule rises up off the earth. Rises up, expansion, gets shredded, then sucked back through the Milky Way. But it's whether you've raised your soul or not, which way you're going. So it's all about the water. That's why the water's used a lot in these divine stories. Cleansing. Pure water. Another reason why you should drink pure water. Flush out the old water. Be at rest, because it's the water within you that's holding all the goodness or the badness. So you wanna basically be a beautiful human, because it's going to resonate beautifully, and you're more inclined to go to heaven and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, understand the meaning of water, why it's used in religion a lot. So it's the divine entity in the human system. You've got 78% moisture in your body, haven't you? And there was something else I was going to talk about. See, I forget. There was something really interesting I wanted to talk about. What's this? The Eye of Ra, we've talked about that. Alignment, crossing, digit, crown. Woman's time. Okay, that was it. A woman's. Now, women are asking me a lot of questions about this divine awakening. Well, I've been talking about the male awakenings. All the religion stories are about the male, basically, the sun. So that's how man's awakening comes about. Everything I've explained. But for the female, you're opposite. See, male's spiritual entity that makes him singular is the spiritual female half. That comes into him. That's when there's that divine, oh my God. And anyway, so his happens at night, but a woman will have her awakening during the day, because she is gaining the male aspect, and that's the sun, the light of the sun. So she will have an awakening during the day, And she could say she's seeing Jesus, but she's seeing a male maybe, because that's what's coming into her. She's getting a male entity to make her feel comfortable. You're taking her home, and she'll become religious, and a lot of them just start going to church after that, but that's if you don't get the full Monty. The full Monty, you know it's within you, and you don't have to go to a church to express it openly. But it's still a good thing if you're in the right frame of mind and know what it all means. It's all about love and friendship and all that. Being a good person. So for the woman, realise it's during the day. You'll have your awakening during the day. Daylight hours. And the male's at night. So, yeah. So all the spiritual tales I've told you about the Milky Way and the night stars, that's all connected to male. I'm not sure. I haven't really put my head into what's happening with the female. But, you know, it is a daylight thing. And maybe women can pray during the day, but I've found that for men, you pray at night. Maybe we're all supposed to pray at night. Works better at night, apparently. Yeah, so that's quite a bit, I think. I've talked about the remember that, you know, the boat, the banana. I told you about the banana story about the boat floating on water. It goes way back at the beginning of creation, not just in the 1700s about the exporting of bananas and boats sinking. Okay. Pluto, where they created Pluto, because they know this system, the Freemasons, Disney, they're having a good laugh at you, you know. Pluto, that's Pluto, bad drawing, eh? Solar boat, there's banana, 2 tips, Sirius, Antares. I've told you all about what's happening in here, the tropical gap, the fire, iron plates, described in the mythological stories. What creates the electrical system, the changing magnetic field, creates the sun, the electrical, and the turning sun around the ecliptic plane, inside circle. It's electrical, that's what keeps the changing magnetic field, the sun moving. Remember, as the sun's moving around that ecliptic plane, it's attached to the Milky Way, it's in it, or attached at one end, say. Because you've got a sun, the real sun at one end, the image we see out at this end. So there's a banana in itself there. So that's the Milky Way banana story, but there's also the banana story of the Sirius to Antares. There's never one version to these tales or myths. So that's moving around like a straw in a vortexed water over the day. Okay, that's how it works. I think that's it, guys. I should wrap up this series now. Understanding this, there's a connection point between the two Milky Ways connecting. Jesus' story. It's where Horus is created. Moon sign, Pisces. Full moon was in Pisces when it all happened. Plenty of rain outside, you can hear it. Anyway, don't forget, put up a light and get it out there to all your mates. Somebody will put it together a lot better than I can. But don't forget, you can mention my name. Won't kill you. Thanks. Bye.